Okay, we're back. This is what we're going to be working on now. Like I said before, in the other where I took it apart, these up here are a bunch of transistors, and this whole little, I don't know what you call them when there's a group. Is that a pack or a herd or a group or what? I don't know. Anyways, this mess of transistors up here is what makes the H-bridge. These are the motor controls for the exact motors we took out of it. So why would we want to buy an H-bridge when we've got one right here, right? That's what I'm thinking. So I went on the internet and looked up this chip. I put in the chip name and the word datasheet on the search engine, which I'm using DuckDuckGo lately because it's getting better results than Google and stuff like that. But anyways, it pulled up a datasheet for this, and then I lost it. I don't know what I did with it. But anyways, a couple of things to look at when you're looking at a datasheet. I don't know if you can see it. It's going to be hard to see on video, but right up here at this end of the chip, because you know this is all black on black, there's a little notch. Here, I'll draw a picture of one for you then. There's a little notch, and on that shows up on the datasheet. This is my high-tech special whiteboard I got. It's a piece of scrap from my MiniSumo Surface, but it works as a whiteboard. So anyway, so you have on your data sheet, you'll have a top view. It'll look kind of like this, only a little more professionally drawn. There's all your little legs sticking out the sides. I didn't count, so we don't know how many. We don't know what chip this is. Has the number on here, 721. That's a 721. And then up at the top it'll have a little notch drawn in it like that. And that little notch tells you which way to look at your chip. In this case, the little notch is up there on the top. So this is the top of my chip. I forget, I think they start either one over here or one over there. Whatever. They're numbered on the data sheet, so you can figure it out. And then count around one way or the other. Oh, dang, I just went and used a Sharpie on there. So now I'm going to have that on there forever and ever. Or longer. Okay. Well, we're going to take a break for a second while I go out and get a different piece of scrap. Okay, I got me a new piece, blank scrap, and put my Sharpie away, so we're in business. See, it's honest to goodness scrap. There's a nail hole. Or something. I don't know what was in there. At any rate, back to this. Actually, I'm going to get my Sharpie back out because I'm going to use it on this thing. So I looked up on the data sheet and found that these two pins here, this one and this one on this side and this one on this side, those two on this side, are the pins that actually control, are the output. They're the ones that control the motors. The rest of these pins are, there's one for power and ground, and then there's several of them for the radio, and this up here is your radio receiver, all this junk up here. And we're not going to use any of that because we don't have the radio. Hold on a second, I'm going to get rid of a couple of these wires that I don't need just to get them out of my way. I'm going to go ahead and leave the LEDs on this one so I can put them on my MiniSumo just to have a little flash. They won't flash, I don't think, but they'll just come on when it's turned on. Where'd the antenna go? It's down here. I didn't leave much on there, so it's no big deal. I'll go ahead and yank that out of there and get it out of my way. So we know that, so I keep turning this around just to throw you off. Those pins up there are the ones that go into the motor control. So I know it's the top 4 pins. So I turn the board over, find my top 4 pins right there, and look at where they go. Okay, these two, this one, these are traces. The little lines in here, they're called traces. Anyways, so this one, second one down, goes to a trace right here. So I can, no, my bad, there's a resistor in there somewhere. So I'm just going to play it safe and go down one anyways. This one goes over here, up around into here, and into this Looks like it goes into that batch of resistors there, or a transistor or something. But anyways, it's involved in our H-bridge, so I'm keeping it. So I'm going to say from here down on this side I'm safe to cut off. And then I'll look at these. Looks like still the third one. There must be something else up there that's fooling me. But anyways, this one here comes up here, goes to there, which looks like it's part of, it goes to that resistor. That resistor comes up to this transistor through the traces, so I'm saying that's part of my H-bridge too. So I don't want to cut any higher than my line right here. So I'm going to draw a line there, there, and then I can go up to here. I'm okay cutting that out, I think. We'll find out one way or the other, right? Cut across there. I don't want to cut any of this stuff in there because that's H-bridge parts too. So I'm going to cut right through there. So everything below this I can take off now. And that's pretty much what you would do if you didn't have access to look up the data sheet or whatever for this. You know that where resistors are all clumped up like this, that's your H-bridge. Track them back, find out as far down as you can go, and then everything below this I can get rid of. I don't need it. So I'm going to go ahead and take all that junk off of there pretty much, and then I'm going to cut this because there's no use having it. I mean, there's some mounting holes, you might want them, I don't know, it's up to you. So first thing I think I'm going to do is I'm going to carefully remove this chip. That is all real fragile stuff, so you want to be real careful with it. And just put your chisel right there and give her a couple taps. I'm just kidding, you don't do that. I was just messing around with you. Actually what I'm going to do is use this and just going to cut these legs because I don't have a use for this chip, and I can get a new one. You know, they're all, like I said, these thunder tumblers are all over the place. I'm going to do that in a minute. Another thing I want to do real quick, show you real quick, is how I take these components off. I want to take all this stuff off here before I'm trying to cut it, because I don't want to be running into this stuff with my saw, and you know, there's probably something in there I don't want to be breathing while I'm cutting it and stuff. So that's how I do it. What I do is I have this pair of hemostats somebody gave me a long time ago, don't know who, don't know why, but they're pretty handy dandy, I think. One of my favorite tools. So I clamp them to the lead. I'm going to go ahead and do the big tall resistor first because it's easy to get to and it's on the edge of the board. So I clamp that to my lead and I put pressure on it so that I'm pushing down this way. Take my soldering iron, just heat that up, and that's how easy it is to get that unsoldered. Do the same thing, only I'm going to have to get a hold of the body of the resistor here this time. Same thing, put pressure on it, and there it's out. No problem, quick and easy. So not everybody has hemostats, so we're going to do it this time with regular old pliers, and I'm going to do this capacitor right here on the end. So I'm doing these two very end spots. Hold it tight, put the same pressure on it, push down. It's not going to come out quite as easy. Well, I yanked half of it off. No big deal. Just throwing all this stuff away. I could put it in a little box to solder into a circuit later, but to be honest with you, I'm not that good at electronics, so I don't even know how to tell what values those capacitors are. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, only I'm going back to my trusty handy dandy hemostat. Wearing safety glasses for when I was messing with the chisel, makes it kind of hard to see which one I'm on. I'm doing a transistor now, so I have to do three legs of it. I don't know if that one came all the way out. go to the next one. Middle one didn't come out, so I'll go back to it. And I don't know how well you can see this. I don't have a good close-up camera. There's my little transistor I yanked out of there. So you can see I got a little bit more work to do, because everything down in here, this chip, I'm going to leave that little resistor because, no I'm not, I'm going to leave that little resistor because it's on my side, and it looks like it's in my circuit, so I'm going to leave that resistor, probably take this one out, cut the chip off, and then I'm going to go ahead and make the cut, and I'll be right back with you. Okay, I'm back. I got my, as you can see, I hacked off a hunk of that, so I'm going to put it over here with these things. There's my beautifully removed chip with no legs left on it. Slide all that stuff aside because I'm done with it for now. Some of those parts I might keep for later, but if you do, if you decide to keep any of those things, test them out before you use them again, because that way of removing them that I use is not exactly it's kind of hostile. Let's put it that way. Not real friendly. So I got this thing back, like I said, cut it out. I've stripped the ends of the wires. Going to go ahead and test it and see if I have a clue what I'm doing. Also, the more I look at it and the more I think about it, I think my actual, use my Sharpie for a minute, I think my actual motor controls are these third one down on each side instead of the second one down on each side. Not 100% positive, but I think I miscounted or something, I don't know. Anyways, go ahead, and if you're going to use, if you have the same board, just stay out at the third one down instead of the second one down. Oh, and that reminds me, I'm going to need a resistor from over here, so I'm going to pick this one. I like it, looks good. Mostly what I like about it, has 2 leads still left on it and they're a little long, kind of long. So I got let me see, I got my special battery box. This is just folded up aluminum foil that I used so that I can get a hold of the ends. That one's going to be red because it's positive on this. Oops, don't want to advertise on this particular brand. No name brand battery there. That's positive, and this is negative. And then on this here, these were the ones hooked to our batteries. So this is positive, this one's negative. So I'll just clamp right on there. And not yet. I got a couple more of these here. I got a yellow one for my yellow wire and a white one for my white wire. These ones go to one of the motors. This one in particular. And try not to make any shorts or anything there. And I think you can see that high-tech rotation indication device, because you got to have a rotation indication device when you're doing this kind of stuff, I suppose. So you got a red one for this. Red one is my other motor wires. Red one and a black one. And somewhere I have another end of that. There it is. And I'll set this motor right here. Actually, I'll set it out there so you can see it. Setting it over here where I can see it, but you can't. It's kind of makes it top secret. My eyes only. Okay. Those there. And then I'm going to pick green because I don't have any other green stuff in here. I'm going to put one end of my green on this little beady resistor I found. The other end I'm going to swap them because the insulation is a little tighter on this one, this side here. And I'm feeling to see if I got a good contact, because those leads are so small sometimes they don't get a good contact in the jaws of those things. I'm going to put, actually I see that it'd probably be easier to hook my green right over here to the battery than in there. So now I got these things hooked up, and I can go around to the trace side of my circuit board, and I'm going to touch the other side of the resistor to the ones that I think are motor control, and sure enough, you can see it's kicking around. Goes one way then the other. I'm going to try this side. So the good news is I didn't cut off anything I needed. So, and that reminds me, if you're building something like this and you don't want to do this part, cutting all that stuff off there and everything, you know, don't worry about it. It's just saving you a little tiny bit of weight, and you know, a little bit of size. It's no big deal to have this stuff here still on there. You just need to find your where you think your pins are that are controlling your motor. You're probably still going to have to take that chip off whether you want to or not, but that's not that big a deal. Just cut it off there like we did. Find your motor cables, which you can mark this stuff as you're taking apart. It's probably smarter than me, because I didn't mark anything. And there's that. I didn't notice. Did anybody else? Where's my power? I didn't notice my LEDs coming on. So I probably cut something out that belonged in there. I didn't really look, to be honest with you. So we'll quickly power this thing back up. Sure enough, I apparently something in there that I shouldn't have. Went ahead and cut it off, so those LEDs aren't going to come on anyway. Might as well get rid of them now. But the important part is still okay. I don't know why I got that in my hand. And then, oh, I remember what else. Why I got the extra, or why I got the other whiteboard out and everything, and then I forgot to do it, was to draw real quick how an H-bridge works, because that might be something you might want to know. So this is going to be, the concept is not going to be a circuit diagram of this. Not going to be a circuit diagram of that. This is basic concept. So in the middle is your motor. Then you got, as you know, you got your two leads coming off your motor with alligator clips still hooked on. Two leads coming off your motor. That's those two leads coming off my motor. And then I have connections here. So far, looks kind of like some kind of Star Wars thing, but it's not really. And then you have switches. Basically, you're using these transistors, or you're using them as switches. But I'm just going to draw regular old switches in there. And then you have a connection to your battery. And I'm not going to be specific. This is just general concept. So I'm not drawing whether this is positive or negative, anything like that. Just drawing connections to my batteries. So there you can see where it gets the name H-bridge. You look right there in the middle, looks like an H. So what you're doing when you're monkeying with these transistors is basically close this switch and this switch. That makes the electricity is going to go down, because I didn't tell you positive or negative. So depending on your philosophy of electronics, it's either positive, your electricity goes down here, around through this switch, because I've turned it on with my red marker, in this way, and back out the bottom. So that makes the motor turn a direction. We're going to say it turns that direction just because really it doesn't really matter. We're just doing concept. Now to turn on with my blue, I'm going to turn on these two switches. That's not a really nice blue, is it? So then my electricity is going to come in this way, go through that switch now, go across the motor this way, and back down and out. which is going to cause my motor to turn the opposite direction. That's all an H-bridge is. It's not too much magic or anything like that. It's just switches turning on your motor from your these go hook into your battery. But again, you don't need, for the concept part, you don't need to know which is positive and negative. Just know that that's what you're doing, is you're switching on alternating sides, and that's causing your motor to turn two different directions. All you have to do when you get to this point and you're gonna say you're gonna ready to wire this up and everything, you just hook your motors back up like I had them, and when you touch those, just watch and see which way the motor turns compared to which way you're gonna hook it in your circuit. So that's why I went and got this other whiteboard, and then I almost forgot to use it. Oh, a little scrap there. So that is very simply H-bridges, and that is also where I'm going to stop this time around, because we got that step accomplished. We have our H-bridge out of our circuit, and we know which wires are which, so we can hook this all up. Depending on how you're doing it, if you're using an Arduino, it doesn't really even matter which way you hook it up, because in your program you can determine which way is forward and which way is reverse for the two motors. I'm going to go ahead and sign off now and look and see if I can figure out why my LEDs aren't coming on, because I still wouldn't mind having those in my MiniSumo. So that's all for now, and we'll see you next time at hooking up the motors. We're going to have to figure out a way to hook those together and then putting on the wheels. Talk to you later.